Welcome back. Brother Ali, you know, you're such a fascinating man. You know, you have a history, and I'd like you to share some of that history with us. You're not originally from the Bahamas, are you?
No, sir.
Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Jamaica, West Indies. That's where I was born.
Okay, have you grown up in Jamaica?
No, I left Jamaica in the middle 60s.
Okay. And
so my life is the United States.
And you grew up in the United States, basically?
Grew up in the United States,
okay.
Saw segregation firsthand.
That's right.
You know,
you would have been there around the time of Malcolm X, eh?
Malcolm X, I listened to him in Brooklyn, but like anything else, my father was telling me not to listen to these Muslim and everything that was bad about them. But there was always something interesting in listening to maybe a paragraph or what he said that resonated in you, pointing out what happened to us along the way. You know, you hear of or you learn of what happened in the Holocaust, what happened to the Jews. You learned of what happened to the Japanese when they were held taken to California. And the sad thing about it, as you learn, as you went on, it's that they were compensated after they were put into concentration camp, Japanese. The Jews were paid by Germans. But there is no blacks that you can really, most times when you talk to blacks, they're telling you there was no compensation for what they went through. And still no compensation. Even to talk about it, it seems like it's something that is taboo for us to even talk about. And my belief in, after, how should I say, having the knowledge of self, I'm still looking for compensation.
Well, I think you're right. I mean, reparations is
a must.
It's a must. I mean, I was just reading about a case yesterday. The Mau Mau, the descendants of the Mau Mau and some Kenyans have brought a case against the British government for the atrocities of during that era. And, you know, the British did some horrible things. They stole people's land, they killed their animals, they killed people, and they tortured them. And this is a historical fact that's being exposed now, and I think it's just and righteous that the British government should pay compensation. But likewise, for those slave plantations of Jamaica, the slave plantations of the Bahamas, and the fact that the Haitian people had to sacrifice so much blood to get their freedom, I think the compensation should be paid. You know, many people in the white community have difficulty with this. They had no difficulty paying the Jewish community. They had no difficulty whatsoever paying the Japanese. And it seems somehow that they feel that they were entitled to enslave us, that they were entitled to the benefits of our sweat, blood, and labor. And I have serious issues. You know, I was on a radio program the other day, and I'm going to ask your opinion on this because I know you know the guy. But the fella said, well, you know, it was black people selling slaves to the white people. But it almost like he forgive the white man or the white slave master for being the main perpetrator of the whole system, and blame it on the one fellow who wanted to make a buck or a fast dollar and may have sold somebody. So what is your view to somebody who, when you speak about reparations, they start running away and say, well, it wasn't me, it was your own people who enslaved you?
Again, a tree without roots will sooner or later just die and go away.
Okay.
It is very important for us to teach our children about what happened in the Middle Passage. It's very important that they know, because, you know, when you look at right here in the Bahamas, the amount of killings, we are now, we can no longer blame white people in one sense for what is happening to us. Okay? Because when you look at it, as you said, it was black that sold us into slavery. It's like, have you ever seen a Chinaman or a white person who just came into a fortune or $1 million and he moved over the hill?
Not unless there's some gold or some oil over there.
Or he depends on his business depend on us.
Yeah.
One time there were in the United States, most stores, grocery stores, so on and so forth, liquor stores was owned by Jewish people. Now it's Korean, other than them.
But who the main customers are?
Us. Because we have not even learned how to be of service to ourselves. So we wait on now the Chinese, Korean, or whomever, Indians, to come into our neighborhood to open a store to provide service for us.
But now, when you were in America, you were part of the Nation of Islam.
Yeah,
and they had a program to reverse that, eh?
Yeah, well, they had a program which worked very well, and until again they were infiltrated by higher powers, because to me it was too much of a positive program. If you can remember, Malcolm X, who joined the Nation of Islam, he didn't come from a university to join the Nation of Islam. He came out of jail.
That's right.
And sooner or later, he was lecturing to some of the best schools
That's right.
that you had in the United States.
In the world. They lectured at Oxford as well.
Exactly.
Debated
So
at Oxford.
there is a program that can turn things around. But we have to first adhere to self-discipline.
That's right.
Okay. For example, here is something that I see here that in essence upsets me, because we're not holding our children responsible. You can look at a young man. I don't see him riding through Life Key or any other, of course he couldn't ride his motorcycle through gated communities in the way he ride over the hill or through our communities. The motorcycle, he has one wheel up in the air. It's making noise that pollutes a square mile, so to speak. But there are no fathers or elders who is to call him and tell him, you are disturbing the neighborhood. You are disturbing the church. So he feels he can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, however he wants. So we cannot really blame the slave masters for that.
No.
We can blame him for slavery. But we have to blame ourselves. You understand me? Our fathers may have bought us a little bicycle, but we said, no, we must give him something better. So we give him this motorcycle. And now he's tormenting the hell out of all of us, and none of us have the mind to even, because we are afraid about that which we have made.
But you know the real tragedy